Finally, someone who gets it, right? Wrong. This is the setup, and you're walking right into it like a rom-com character who doesn't realize they're being catfished. Level 1, the fake deadline. Here's a classic move straight out of the used car salesman playbook. Someone needs your answer right now. Not tomorrow, not in an hour, now. They create urgency where absolutely none exists, because rushed decisions skip the part where your brain goes, wait, hold up, does this even make sense? Pressure replaces logic. You say yes just to stop the uncomfortable feeling of making them wait, not because you actually want to agree. And here's the kicker. The deadline was never real. They just knew you wouldn't have the audacity to call their bluff. Watch for phrases like, I need to know today, or this offer expires soon, when there's zero clear reason why. Real urgency comes with context, paperwork deadlines, actual time constraints, legitimate consequences. Fake urgency comes with vague threats about missing out and a suspiciously aggressive tone. The fix? Pause. Just hit them with a calm, let me think about it and get back to you. If they push harder, if they suddenly get irritated or start guilt-tripping you about being difficult, congratulations, you just found your answer. Legitimate requests can survive a 24-hour waiting period. Manipulative ones burst into flames the second you introduce logic and time. Time is the manipulator's kryptonite because it gives you space to realize you're being cornered by someone who's treating your decision like a flash sale at Target. Level 2, the compliment trap. They praise you, but only, and this is key, only for doing things that benefit them. You're so generous when you lend them money. You're such a team player when you stay late to cover their work. You're too smart to be upset about this when you raise a legitimate concern they don't want to address. It sounds like appreciation. It feels like validation. It's actually conditioning. Like training a dog, except the treats are compliments, and you're the one doing tricks. The genius here is you start performing for the praise. You want to be generous, so you say yes even when your bank account is crying. You want to be the team player, so you sacrifice boundaries and personal time like you're auditioning for Employee of the Month. You want to be smart, so you suppress your emotions and concerns because apparently intelligence means never having feelings? They've turned your self-image into a leash, and the wildest part, you're the one holding it. Here's the tell that separates real compliments from manipulation. The praise evaporates the second you stop complying. Suddenly, you're selfish, difficult, overthinking everything. The same qualities they celebrated last week become character flaws now that they're not getting what they want. That shift from you're amazing to you've changed reveals the compliment was always transactional, like Monopoly money that only has value in their game. The defense? Separate your worth from their approval. You're generous when you choose to be, not when someone needs you to be their personal ATM. You can be a team player without being a doormat that everyone wipes their feet on. Real compliments celebrate who you are. Manipulative ones try to lock you into who they need you to be. If praise only shows up when you're useful and disappears when you set boundaries, that's not admiration, that's training, and you're not a circus animal.
Level 3. Emotion loan sharking. Someone does you a favor you never asked for. Brings you coffee, covers your shift, helps you move a couch. Thoughtful, right? Appreciate the gesture, maybe send a thank you text, move on with your life. Wrong. 2 weeks later, they need something and suddenly you're in debt. The favor wasn't kindness, it was an investment. And now they're here to collect, with interest, that would make a payday lender blush. You feel guilty saying no because they were so helpful. Except, and this is important, you never agreed to this transaction. The debt was invented retroactively, like they went back in time, signed your name on a contract, and are now waving it in your face. Here's how you spot it. Unsolicited help followed by scorekeeping. They remember every single nice thing they did, down to the exact date and time, but somehow forget you never asked for any of it. They frame your refusal as ingratitude, as if declining to repay a loan you didn't take out makes you the villain in their personal drama. The countermove? Thank them sincerely when they help, but make your future decisions independently. If they bring up what they did for you as leverage, after everything I've done for you, that's your confirmation it was never a gift. Gifts don't come with invoices. Kindness doesn't keep receipts. If someone's cataloging their generosity like a CPA prepping for tax season, they're not being nice. They're building ammunition for the moment you don't do exactly what they want.
Level 4. The sympathy spiral. Every single conversation becomes a tragedy where they're the victim and you're the emotional support hotline. Something's always wrong, someone's always mistreating them, their boss, their ex, their barista, everyone's out to get them apparently. And you're the only person who truly understands their pain. At first, you want to help because you're a decent human being, but then you start noticing a pattern that's more predictable than a Netflix algorithm. Your problems get minimized while theirs dominate every interaction. You mentioned you had a rough day? Cool, but did you hear about their catastrophic morning where the Wi-Fi was slow and their lunch order was wrong? You stop sharing because there's literally no space left. Their crisis always outweighs your concerns. You've been demoted from friend to unpaid therapist, and the worst part? You didn't even get the credentials. It's not about whether their struggles are real. It's about whether the dynamic is balanced or if you're just a supporting character in their never-ending sob story. Sympathy becomes manipulation when it's weaponized to control attention and dodge accountability. They're never responsible for anything because they're always suffering. And conveniently, every single time you try to address an issue in the relationship, boom, sudden emergency that requires your immediate emotional labor. Your boundaries get framed as abandonment. Your needs get dismissed as bad timing. The defense? Set boundaries around your emotional energy. You can care without being consumed. Try this. Next time they spiral, acknowledge it once. That sounds difficult. Hope it improves. Then redirect the conversation. Don't get sucked into problem-solving mode for the 17th crisis this week. If mentioning your own needs gets treated like you just committed a war crime, you're not in a relationship. You're in a customer service role you never applied for. Real connections have room for two people's realities. Manipulative ones only have room for one, and it's never yours. Level 5. Isolation through agreement. Then, slowly, so slowly you won't even clock it, they start pointing out how nobody else understands you. Your friends? They don't appreciate your vibe. Your family? They never listen. Your coworkers? Wouldn't recognize talent if it smacked them with a performance review. But them? Oh, they see the real you. It's flattering until you realize you've stopped talking to everyone else. Suddenly, their opinion is the only one that matters, and you've been cut off from your support system without even noticing the knife. Isolation doesn't start with walls. It starts with whispers. The defense here is annoyingly simple. Keep your other connections alive even when one person makes it feel unnecessary. If someone's support comes with a side of trash-talking everyone else in your life, that's not insight, that's strategy. Real support doesn't require eliminating the competition. Level 6. The reasonable mask. This person never yells, never loses their cool. They're always calm, always logical, always just trying to understand, while somehow making you feel like you're one meltdown away from a reality TV confessional. They ask loaded questions disguised as innocent curiosity. Why are you getting so emotional when you're literally just expressing a normal concern? I'm just being rational here, when what they're actually doing is dismissing your perspective and acting like facts and feelings are mortal enemies. The trick? They position themselves as the mature adult in the room, which automatically casts you as the irrational child throwing a tantrum over nothing. It's a status game, and you're losing before you even realize you're playing. By staying artificially calm while invalidating your emotions, they make your completely valid reactions look like overreactions. You start policing your own feelings because showing any passion gets weaponized as proof that you're too emotional to be taken seriously. Meanwhile, their reasonableness is just emotional detachment dressed up as maturity. They're not more logical, they're just less invested in actually resolving anything. It's easy to stay calm when you don't care about the outcome, and you're treating the conversation like a debate you're determined to win on a technicality. How do you stop it? Name the tactic directly. Hit them with, "You're treating my valid concern as hysteria, and that's not reasonable, that's dismissive."
Stay firm without matching their manufactured calm or getting louder to compensate. The mask only works if you accept their framing that emotion equals irrationality. Once you reject that premise and insist that feelings are data too, their whole performance loses power. Reasonable people don't need to constantly announce they're being reasonable. They just are. It's like people who say, "I'm a nice guy." If you have to say it, it's probably not true.
Level 7. The preemptive accusation. Right before you're about to call them out on something, they hit you with an Uno reverse card and accuse you of the exact thing they're doing. You're planning to confront them about lying? They suddenly question your honesty out of nowhere. You're upset they've been distant and unavailable? They claim you're the one pulling away. You notice they're being controlling? Boom! They accuse you of trying to control them. It's so disorienting, you forget what you were even mad about in the first place. Now you're defending yourself instead of addressing the original issue. The conversation got flipped like a pancake, and they walked away clean while you're still trying to figure out what just happened. This works because accusations trigger defensiveness automatically. It's basically a psychological reflex. You stop thinking about their behavior and start frantically proving your innocence like you're on trial for a crime you didn't commit. By the time you realize what happened, the topic has shifted entirely, and your actual concern is buried under 6 feet of their counterattack. It's misdirection at its finest, and it works because most people physically cannot resist defending themselves when directly accused of something. It's like someone yelling, "Don't think about elephants." You're already thinking about elephants. The counter? Don't take the bait. When they flip the script, pause and redirect with the most annoyingly calm response. We can discuss that separately if you want, but right now we're talking about this. Hold that boundary like your life depends on it. Refuse to get derailed. If they keep deflecting, if they absolutely cannot stay on topic without launching accusations, that's your confirmation they have no defense for their actual behavior. People who have nothing to hide don't need to create smokescreens the size of a California wildfire. The accusation isn't about truth. It's about avoiding it. Stay focused, and their tactic collapses faster than a house of cards in a wind tunnel. Which one hit home for you? Drop it below. If you're not up for being emotionally convenient, hit like and subscribe.